really does hit in different ways, and it's one of those things where a lot of times it's not till you're leaving it, till the sun starts coming out again. You're like, man, why do I feel so great? But while you're in it, it's just kind of like you have low energy. I feel like this study at least is super important, especially or should have even been pushed even more important regarding the 33 plan and the impacts regarding that, right? Because that I haven't really heard anything about that, but assuming that because they want it to progress, it's gonna progress. Within that, there's gonna be ramifications of that being done. And then how does that impact the city? And the second bigger thing that I see, which is really interesting, is I personally believe that a lot of desires in life, a lot of our motivators that end up our careers aren't necessarily born into us, they're discovered. And so what I see the potential for is like a young person to be like, yeah, why do so many of my friends have asthma? And asking that question, why, right? I think our community has really had a weird relationship with why, whether it's just that's the way things are, or that's just how it is, or it's not going to change. We have all these sayings that basically negate that word why. Because if we started asking why, a lot of things that we put up with wouldn't really make sense to us. Why do we still have these same housing conditions that we've been complaining about for 20 something years? Why do we still have these same community resources or lack of resource that we've been complaining about for 20 years? Why are we still in a food desert in certain parts of our city? If we started asking why, a lot of our things that we're just cool with wouldn't work. And so I think that this allows us a very interesting chance for, at least regarding air, to start asking why without having to necessarily always say it is how it is, because from what I hear, there's no drawback to being a part of this study. So if you really always are asking why, or you don't want to, or you're afraid of what might happen, you start asking why, this is a very comfortable place to start. Because why should we have to put up with lower quality air? I don't have an answer for.
And this research is a part of beginning to answer those whys. And I mean, you're absolutely right, right? Like in our culture, we're told things like you should be seen and not heard, right? Or like how dare you have the audacity to question the way things are? You should be grateful for what you have, right? And that's not necessarily true. Like we can expect more, and I think that at this point, people in your generation, and Austin, I'm just so proud of you and like watching your growth, right? Like you are going to reset the standards, right? It's like we're not asking anymore. This is now a demand, right? We know that we deserve better, and we're demanding that our leadership gives us what we want and need. Otherwise, like we gonna vote y'all. First of all, you are the leadership, right? You're the leadership of the next generation of people, and I can see it in you. I can see it exuding out of your body and just coming out of your mouth. And I'm so excited to be able to witness it.
Well, I tell you, I'm seeing an additional level to as I listen to you too, because I think about the fact ingrained in this part of kind of answering a little bit to the why is because we didn't have us deeply involved in studies like that. The studies before us were done on us in a way that we weren't even aware a lot of time, and we didn't benefit from. But the study that I see now, and the kind of roads that have been opened, is that the studies are intentional, done with us participating from the leading level of that. And then here's the other beautiful bloom that I see, is our young people seeing the multifaceted things that we do at another level in a space around science, that this is what enthuses young folk. They don't want to just be sports players or singers and entertainers. They want to have skills, and they'll look at you with awe. And I'm just saying, this kind of thing casts an impact that folks, this is not the time to get caught up in a misunderstanding about what happened at Tuskegee. This is a time to understand that we have broken through some barriers, and we're exploring and utilizing what we find there to help us as we raise ourselves up. It ain't anti anybody. It's just doing more pro what we can for ourselves. And part of it starts with having a study. What's the use of having a study that you don't have leverage to take it somewhere? And what I said at the beginning about UB being actually an international institution, and how many other people who will learn from this. This is very cool.
So, India, my question is to you. Do you think that this project came out of the 33 project? You know, people started to make noise about how the 33, the air quality of the expressway, things like that. There, how did it come about that now that they decided to do this, run this program?
I don't think it's directly related to the 33 project in any way. Like, in fact, it's entirely separate. This is a grant that was provided by the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. However, I do think it's relevant. I think the information is useful, but I
Because
think
they're all on the same level. I mean, same line. Basically, if you connect the west side to the east side of Buffalo, that's the same line almost where most of the studies are going to be taking place, right?
well, initially the study was written specifically for the east side.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
And now it's been expanded because we know that there are high rates of asthma in 14213. And I think that what we get caught up a lot in Buffalo is like living in this sort of like bubble, like Buffalo's the only place in the world. All over the country, there are studies about air quality as it relates to highways and major thoroughfares, right? Like this is something that the federal government has prioritized and it's happening all over the country.
Right. You're seeing the convergence of the multi-levels on which the struggle exists.
Right.
You know, even as we fight around the 33, there are other who have their own highways, but along with that, there are levels above it that understand it from another level. And they start pushing at those gates to get through. So every level is helping. So those who are at ground level expose us more and more. It attracts those at another level and say, yes, that's what we've been saying. And here's evidence. And they push forward. I mean, we're breaking through. This, what I think we're seeing is a connecting of humanity in a way that we haven't seen it. And you know what? It's really thanks to the younger generation that is so intergenerationally and culturally and ethnicity engaged. We're benefited from that. And we're getting better at higher levels on how to do that. And a lot of organizations got to learn it. And yeah, you ain't got to take down your banner, but if we're all working on something around here, let's merge together and see how we can be supported in a collective way and benefit individually still.
Well, you stooped us on that one, so I guess some callers, if they only want to call through, they can call to 716-837-1112. Mr. Jim Anderson got the whole house quiet on that note.
I mean,
yes.
It's true, right? We
Right.
should collaborate. We should have, as a city, like, even to that question, like, where is this coming from? Question should be, where has this been? Like, this is something that should have been being pushed out. And like, even to your point, it's way bigger than Buffalo. We're doing our piece of the fight, but it's way bigger than Buffalo. And it's so easy to compartmentalize ourselves into this is what it is. That's why I don't even like people say young people. There's so many types of young people around. You could go just a couple hours over and meet a whole different type of young people. That's either going to give you a decision where you can say that they're an exception or you got to broaden your perspective, but that's not this conversation.
So
but to that point, I think that it allows us to start to ask ourselves as a community, right? If UB is doing this, what else could maybe other colleges do? How can we boost and continue to push these ideas? Because the same way we fight for clean air, to me, is the same way you're going to fight for me, the same way you're going to fight for education, the same way you're going to fight for third-party spaces, until we can start to actually have wins on issues. And this even plays into the politics. It's going to be hard to motivate young people that we can make change when we don't see it. So if it's in air quality, let's go for it. If it's in transportation, let's go for it. But let's just start making change, because I need to see my city start doing that so that I can believe in my city the way that you guys want me to.
Okay.
So that's industry versus nature, because I can remember like last year, Canada had this big fire, and you can see it just on the jet stream. All the smoke just came across Buffalo, and I was like, man, that's some stuff that cause asthma for us here. So I'm saying, is it more industries going by the bylaws or whatever being set forward now into having clean air? Because that's what was happening in Buffalo years and years ago, Mr. Anderson. They were just pushing out your Bethlehem Steel, those places pushing out just nothing but just smog in our community. Now we don't have so many industries here, and so that's what I'm trying to see, how they focusing their data based on what? Are they going back 20 years, or are they just going to go 15 years back or 5 years back? What do you think they're doing in India?
Well, I mean, the data we're collecting right now is from today,
That's
right?
it.
Like moment by moment. If folks want more information, like I said, I'll share the website on Conversations with Jim Anderson's Facebook page. But I mean, like, you know, we think about these fights as things of the past, right?
Yeah.
They are the things of the present,
Right.
Yeah.
right? Like there's a fight right now with Firestone in Tonawanda,
See?
right? We just saw Tonawanda Coke and that
Yep.
decision being made a few years ago. We're looking at a presidential election where the next person that's elected said that he's going to dismantle and get rid of the Environmental Protection Agency,
Go ahead now.
right? So like these are not things of the past. These are things of the present and the future. And I think that I wanted to like touch back on your point about like the Tuskegee experiments and the case of Henrietta Lacks and all of the terrible things that have been done to Black people in the name of research. And that is the reason why we are underrepresented in research studies today, is because we are distrusting of science, of medicine, of the healthcare system, and of research and of academia. And we have every single right to be. We have reason to not trust those people because they have done terrible things to us, right?
Yes.
But the reason why people like myself and others are involved is so that we can begin to undo the harms and turn these things into something that is for our good, finally. But we have to keep our foot on the gas, right? And when we talk about young people being involved, and shout out to Tamara Cross. Tamara Cross got her white coat, and I ran into her over the summer, and I had to give her a big old hug. And like the people who still are trying to break through into medicine and into science and into research are few and far between when it comes to people that look like me and you. And we have to encourage, we have to support, and it's not enough for us to just support our athletes and rappers and entertainers, but we have to support our intellectuals.
Come on.
Right? We got to do a better job of that.
Come on.
Because those are the people who are going to keep our society moving forward in a way that's vitally beneficial to all of us. So I'm excited. I'm excited for people like Tamara and for Austin, and to like see where y'all, and I always offer myself up. I don't have a lot of information, but the information I do, I will more than willingly share. Never feel like I'm too important to give a phone call and ask a question about the most basic of anything. You can be like, hey, India, what's the temperature gonna be today? And I'll be like, you know what, Austin, I think it's gonna be like 73, maybe a little cloudy. Take your umbrella, baby.
Get out of here, Channel 4. No, she's not available. Hey, y'all. Now, if you want to call in, you still got some time. 716-837-1112. We ain't trying to make you. I'm sure you're enjoying. And in hearing the depth of what's happening in here, I mean, there's a lot of different flavors. And touching, again, every level. See, because this is what you have to understand when it comes to politics. Anything you want, those funds that will help maybe create a youth center, a park and stuff, if you want it, if you can't just say, government, give it to me, you got to organize yourself to put somebody in place that can pull that gear to get it to you. That's at the local level. That's because you want that swimming pool in your community. And then it goes up higher. There's some things that, wait a minute. There's some things at the state level we're supposed to get. Again, they don't just fall from the sky. You have to organize and not wait to go at them. It needs to be thinking about you move from your local level, how it connects on up, right on now to where, look, young folks, there ain't no time to be pontificating about, well, I don't know. Here's what I know. We're facing fascism. And in the face of fascism, you have to go the other way. And whether it's not about how you're liking the other person, we're clear on what would be our demise if we fail to go with the person who you already know is best, serves our best interest. May not serve all the things that everybody wants, but is more able and to be the one that could be movable, because no one gets elected that serves all our interests. And therefore, you have to continue to do what India just said, keep the pressure on. So young folks, I mean, don't play around. And if you want to talk about it, come on the show. I mean, look, it ain't beating you down, but it's it's a teachable moment. Your generation is great. They bring the new knowledge and new skills, but I always like to say, y'all just arrived to the planet. And there's some things y'all need to know so that y'all can deploy all that goodness y'all got in a cool way. And guess what? While I shut up, you won't be alone. It's an intergenerational struggle. You just another wave on the ocean of struggle. And just like on the ocean, you see how those waves, when they're receding, here come another fresh one. Fresh wave, brother.
We have 3 generations sitting right here, you know.
Yeah.
People, they be trying to tell me, young people like you, I'm about to be a grandmother, okay? I'm not that young. But yeah, like it's so true, and I think that one of the most important things I've learned recently, I have a great mentor, former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner, has that's my sister. She says, you might not do politics, but politics gonna do you, right? And if you choose to not be a part of the process,
right,
you can complain all you want to, but ain't nothing gonna change
until
we have a groundswell of people who are dissatisfied going to the polls in droves.
Okay.
Like
So now we
will
on the
tell you
shake-up.
I've been gone. They be like, where you been?
You know what?
Like don't talk to me about what's wrong.
So
you had a chance to change it, you chose not to.
So I'm glad you are smiling, and congratulations on whatever you have been doing in your life. And I remember this journey years ago when we all went to DC, and I had a van full of women. I took a van full of women to DC with Nan. And it had to be about 12, 13 of us in that
That
van.
was the first time I saw Nina Turner speak.
Yes, that's right. And then I told them in the van, I was on the guy, and I said, you know what? There's so much power in this van that y'all can come back and take Buffalo by storm. And everyone that was in that van has done that, yourself and others.
Fran, Janique.
Yeah, Janique. All of them have came back with a mission of doing community and being based on what community is all about and learning from each other. All those groups, and I commend y'all for that. And I was like, man, you went from blocking up the street with a garbage can to running for mayor to doing great things in this community. And here we are on the shake-up, and we have you in this door and in this place right now that we know that now Mayor Brown might step down. I don't know, but and your name has been buzzing. Even
my name has been buzzing.
Oh yeah, your name has still been buzzing. And I'm just saying so many names buzzing. This is on the Shake Up Show on the Jim Anderson Park.
He's trying to get you the answer. Say what you gonna do? What's your comment around all this?
Come on now, I know.
Look at it.
I know you. You just said it. The senator told you. Look, it's in you.
When you say you ain't gonna tell nobody, just let her say. Go ahead.
Come on now, what's up?
I can't run. I got bad knees.
Oh my goodness, boy, you got bad knees. But you know what? We can get you some crutches though to help you out.
Anything you want to say about elections coming up?
Well, I'm taking off my UB Foundation hat because now we're getting into C4 territory.
Okay. Well.
So
we'll go back to it.
I'm actually very excited about Garnell Whitfield.
Yeah, okay.
I think that he would make an excellent mayor. I've spoken to him on several occasions. I think that his mind is in the right place. And he's like, I'm a retired firefighter. Like, I don't need this job. Like, I need to do this because I need to help my community. And so
you know what? He cried at my, when 514 happened, I was there. And when his dad told him about his mother, he cried. And I held him. And that's the first time I ever heard a man cry. You know what I'm saying? And to hear a man cry is really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect him as well. And I'm like, you know what? And I heard that he was running, and he picked the perfect platform to do it with the governor and the mayor on one side. And, you got to pick the points when you're trying to do it. So you backing him. So I don't know. I mean, after this shakeup come down, we don't know who's who. It's a lot of people being appointed, India, what I'm saying, to
We have
position.
We have to go to break, and she's wrapping up, so I don't want to let her not have her last
Okay,
words.
well, I'm let her finish. Yes,
Okay.
yes. So I have a statement to make, though. I want to make sure that when we do appointments, that we make sure we put the right people in place with the help of the community, not politics coming into play again.
Yeah, I think that we finally have an opportunity for a person who's going to be unbiased, unbought, unbossed, and like make decisions based on people's merits, skills, and what they have to offer, rather than returning political favors and donations. So that's my belief, and we'll hope that it goes that way.
Well, thank you, mystery special guest.
Yes.
I'm glad, India, you know you're always welcome to these mics, and I'll be fishing for you to pull you in and more on this study. And thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, we're going to a break. Stay with us. We still shaking it up in here. Peace and love. Don't go nowhere.
You're still on live, and we got to swap out because we have Anita and the other lady.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got to reset.
All right, perfect.
We resetting.
Thank y'all. It was good seeing you.
Yeah.
Let's like go to lunch or something
I got
sometime.
you. No, what's it
India,
called?
we got our show on Sunday, 2:30 if you're available.
I don't work on Sundays.
Yeah,
Call me.
no.
You got my number.
Right here. No, I don't. What's the number?
Yes. 4917929.
71 what?
What?
Yeah.
491
Okay.
79.
You already give me a number to everyone on live, India.
Everybody on live already probably got my number.
Okay.
And they gonna already tell you she ain't gonna answer anyway.
Even my mom's like, she never answered. You can go.
India, thank you so much.
So,
Thank you. Hey.
I'll talk to you offline about.
Come on in, Lori.
Hi, Lori. I'll talk to you about what we got
Okay.
next week.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hey.
Good morning.
And Benita, too.
Hi, how are you?
Oh,
Hey.
okay.
How you doing?
And you don't have to raise your hands when you speak in the mic, but you don't be afraid to like pull it to you so that you get in there good. You already got the word. We're not pitching underhand. We will be. Sorry, we don't have any gloves for you to catch it. We're gonna be throwing real hard. You'll be okay though. You know, just shout. Just holler.
And he's a lot done.
No, really. Hey, it's good to have you.
you.
We're gonna we'll do a light introduction of you both, and then you could say, and you can tell us more about yourself, and then what it is you come to tell us about it and list us in, and good to have you. Oh, hey, good morning. Hey, we're back, and hey, part two, just as heavy as part one, and we got some calls already on the phone. Just hold on. Let me tell you who's here in the second half. We got the League of Women Voters President Lori Robinson, and we have Benita Jameson. There it is. I should know it. I looked at it 50 times. Benita Jameson, and she's going to be talking about the Divine Nine and the program. And you know what? I wonder how many of y'all are hip to Proposition 1. Because if you ain't, you're going to hear about it. And Proposition 1, I'll give you a leak on it. I'll give you this. ERA. Okay, you'll hear more as we go along. But again, welcome. We got Austin, we got Murray, and we got Latasha, and we're good to have you both here. And so take it away. Tell us your name. You can say, if I left out too little, you can say whatever you want. And then talk to us about, give us the homework.
Okay, well, Jim, thank you for having us here today. We're really pleased. We've got a great program coming up on Wednesday, September 25th, this Wednesday, that we're hoping that everybody will want to come out to hear about. And Benita is going to tell us more about the program, but I am the president of the League of Women Voters, and so we are doing this program in conjunction with Benita's groups, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the ERA. But first, the first we got to keep in sequence of what's happening. First is the Say Less program on September 25th at 5:30, and then the ERA stuff will be on the ballot in November. So
Okay.
go ahead.
All right, so good morning. Thank you again for the invitation. Vanita Jameson, and I am a member of the Buffalo Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority. I'm also a part of the one of the Divine Nine organizations of the Western New York Panhellenic Council in Buffalo. And basically, we are excited to partner with the League of Women Voters for our event on Wednesday, September the 25th at the William Emsley Y, located at 585 William Street. This event is like none other. This has been in the making for quite a few months. And we are talking about issues that affect young people. We already know that historically, if you marched in the civil rights, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, we already know we're going to vote.
All right.
But the deciding factor on this election are those 18 to 35. And we want to have those honest conversations on the things that matter to you most: affordable housing, student loan debt, economics, environmental justice, right? So all the things that matter the most are what we want to talk about. And we have a dynamic panel that will represent areas of those concerns. We have Lisa Hicks from the City of Buffalo Division of Development, W. Charles Brandy from the Buffalo Public Schools,
All right.
Giovanni Como Brown from the Buffalo Center for Health Equity, and we are bringing in a special guest from the League of Women Voters. Her name is Nile Blass, and Nile is a powerhouse, and she speaks specifically to youth engagement, youth voter engagement. And our moderator for the evening will be Jamel Cruz. So we're excited. The opportunity to partner not only as under the umbrella of the Western New York Panhellenic Council, but all of the sororities. So the 4 sororities with 5 chapters locally have gotten together to say, we want to leverage our opportunity to reach more people. And so although we have different missions on the surface, we're all about social justice.
Wow. I'm we in the earlier segment we talked a little bit about young people and where they're coming from, and we've often talked about the need for them to be heard. Tell us again where to come, and if there's any pre-registration or a call or whatever.
So this is free. It's free. So we'll say that on the
Bingo,
surface. Free always works, and there is food. So free and food.
Free and food.
And they go hand in hand.
Oh,
And we do have opportunities for, we have 4 $25 gift cards. People can, if you're in attendance, you automatically are included to win. So we needed something to get people in the door. But again, we want to talk about the issues that are important to you, meaning 18 to 35, because we understand you are going to be the deciding factor of who wins this election, right? And when it's not talked about enough, we talk about artificial intelligence, we talk about fake news, we talk about credible resources, but how do you get that information? And those are some of the things that we want to make sure that I'm passionate about, is that you make sure you have all the information, because this event is nonpartisan. So we want to make sure whoever you decide to vote for, is that you understand and have all the resources and materials at your disposal. So Wednesday, September the 25th, William Emsley Y, 585 William Street in Buffalo. The time is from 5:30 until 7:30. We would ask that you register via a QR code. But if you show up, we're not turning anyone away, because we think that this is an important piece in the community.
Cool.
So with this being said, I deal with a lot of youth, that, from that age range. And the question that I posed to them is, go out and vote. And that seems to be hard for them to do, because they don't know who to vote for. When you throw out names, they be like, why? Why should I vote? We just did a campaign years ago when we registered over 1,800 people to vote in the city of Buffalo. South Violence Coalition, we was on corners. and now we're trying to go back with that type of message. Even going into the high schools, wrap up the vote campaign usually works as well, because you do have kids that's in high schools that's 18 years old that we should be touching as well, to get them ready and preparing them to vote in our community. So will there be another phase of this after the election, or is it just going to do a one-time thing?
So right now we're doing it focused on the election, but these are conversations that have to happen on a regular basis. So we can't wait till the election,
Right.
a presidential election, to have these conversations. We need to be teaching our kids how to, school boards, and we need to be talking local officials. So we need to engage them at the beginning. So it's more than just signing someone up to vote. It's more about signing them up for a lifetime of voting.
Right.
Great. Before we go to the League of Women Voter Party, I know we had two callers on. I had them a long time. Thanks to Holloman. I didn't mean to keep you so long. But caller, you're on. Wait, hold on 1 second. Okay. Yes. Dr. Doyle?
This is Dr. Doyle.
Yes.
Yes, I don't know if Miss Walker is still there.
India,
But anyway,
she
I know you don't have much time. I want to share a quick story of how the past can catch up with the future. I have been doing my family research for 25 years, and I found out that my mother worked in a chemical plant during World War II, and she died of cancer. So what I did some research. I got a lawyer. I sued the company, and I won the case. It was an example of how the research helped me and my family. They didn't have any faith in it, but Mr. Anderson, when I won the case and they got the checks, they believed me.
All right.
So I just wanted to give an example of how my mother, who died many, many years ago of cancer, and I was able to prove it. And I write about this story in my books. I just wanted to share that information.
Well, thank you. And that amplifies what we were talking about, the importance of research being done with us, on us, by us, and the impact that it had. That's a great testimony. Caller, you're on the air.
Yes, blessed about family.
Hey, bro.
My question really is, in this illusion of a participatory democracy, there seems to be strong efforts all the time to exclude people from participating. Does you back or believe that we should have automatic voter registration as soon as someone turns 18, so that along with the birthday card, they get a voter registration card and not have to go through hoops in order to participate in this illusion of participatory democracy? And the second question is there a way for people who are, as they say, housing insecure or homeless to participate in the process? But you have to have a legitimate address to register to vote and to participate in this process.
Great. Thanks for those two questions. And I believe we'll get some answers as we talk to the League of Women Voters. And if we don't, we'll still pursue it from this show with the Board of Elections.
Okay, those are great questions, and sounds like a good idea. I think we should all be registered to vote at birth, like we get our social security number, we could get our voter registration number. So yes, the easier it would be to make us registered and eligible to vote is excellent. And we've been pretty fortunate in New York. We feel like we've got some pretty liberal voting things, but not really. So, it is always a challenge of having enough resources, even at the boards of elections, to be able to check all the registrations that are coming in. I know that everybody in the country is talking about it, but hundreds of thousands of young people have been registering to vote in the last couple of weeks, and it's just wonderful that they would be that engaged. And the question on the homeless people, we do have a brochure, and I don't have it with me, but yes, Absolutely, there is a way for homeless people to register to vote. There's a couple of agencies that work with the homeless individuals where they can use that address to register to vote. So if you need that information, you can call us at the league and we can get you a copy of that. Sure.
And before you go deeper, before you go into the main subject you're going to do, we got another call. We'll want to get that because we do want to hear about the ERA. Caller, you on the air.
Good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
Great show. I want to tell Murray for number one. I appreciate you guys. But to the women of legal voters, I want to one of them want to call me anti-black than I am. This makes me the last time I vote Democrat. So as far as the Democrats, what I see them doing, as far as men, they work for the women's rights, I guess. They work for LGBTQ rights. They work for immigrant rights. But I don't see them doing nothing for my rights. So I'm upset about that. And number two, Larry, I just left that meeting with the assessors as far as in Buffalo.
Assessment.
My house, other people's house in the community for $100,000 per season, 100% more than what the value of his work. So that's all crazy. That's what the hearings about. Told me in the meeting, they had 26 meetings in the city of Buffalo. Out of 26 meetings, he had to hire.
Cool. Let us go ahead.
I didn't know anything about some of these things.
Well, okay.
I want to know if the voters can speak on that. My assessment went up so high this year.
Okay, let me get a man on here, and thanks for sharing that. We got it. I got some of that too.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, all of them.
Okay,
All of them.
and part of the answer
100%.
before I give it to for a more professional answer, part of the answer is that when we see something, not only say something, we got to do something.
Yes.
That means organize. And on our blocks, just think if block clubs was to look down their block and everybody find out who upset. There go a group there. And can you imagine if block clubs were to show up in front of City Hall? I'm just saying, some of these things is because of the absence of people
Showing up
after
Right.
they vote.
Right.
You gotta vote or you ain't got nothing to say. And then after you vote, you can't lay back. You gotta keep the pressure on. I'm shutting up because the League of Women Voters is here, and they're much kinder than I am.
Assessment.
Not really. But anyway, unfortunately, we don't have anything to do with the assessments or anything. But yes, we all have been affected by that in the city. And it just seems so ridiculous. I mean, the house hasn't changed at all. Why would the value of it increase?
Because the community has changed. And when we have auctions and things like that there, when houses that's supposed to go for $20,000 go for $90,000 or $100,000, that makes your property go up. It's not just the folks that City Hall has played a dangerous game with allowing property that we know that wasn't even that of value, now has pushed our own homes into jeopardy that now is assessed so high that even if you try to buy a house in the community, you got to spend $300,000 for a house that's a shack. So I don't get it. But you know what? All through the years, we've been saying happy because taxes wasn't going up. Yeah. And now they hit us at the last time.
Drop
when
the
we
trick
have,
and lead time.
That's a shakeup that's happening.
That's what Jesse James and them used to do.
Yes.
Bank robbery.
That is exactly it. The idea that, we're not raising taxes. But yes, we are raising the value of your house, which is assessed per thousand on the taxes. So yes, they absolutely raised the taxes. But and you're exactly right, Jim. The league has had in the past, and we need more volunteers. But an observer corps to go and actually sit at all of the city meetings and sit in there, and even if you don't say anything, when they know people are around and people are listening, they're not going to make these decisions without any input. So
I don't think we had a rally over like back in my time a little bit. It was rallies every week about something, about violence, about votes, about whatever. Now it seems like we seen Buffalo's got so relaxed that we don't like to come together to stand up for our rights on the steps of City Hall. You have the right to do it. Sort of like Occupy Buffalo and 99 They're gonna have filled now to the point that it's just so laxy daisy in our community.
It really is, and you can start with your council representative. Just go to their local office in mass. Don't go one in there grinning and everything. You go there and lay down some demand. Take a group
we have
you better do us some. You better tell us about this
ERA. Just real quick, the league also does produce a little booklet every year of all of the contact information for every elected official, from the president to the dog catcher. And I tell everybody when I give them that book, give them a call and ask them what they've done for you today, because we pay them to have that job. It's a job to work for us, we the people, and we do need that accountability and have them come back and talk to us. I don't know when the last time any elected official had a town hall where they really were asking people what they thought about anything. So,
you know what Prop 1 is? You know what Prop 1 is?
I do. She got it in her hands.
Latasha, you know what Prop 1 is?
I don't think no.
All right, well,
come on with it.
I'm going to let you know what Prop 1 is. It's called Prop 1 because it's the first proposition on our ballot from the Erie County Board of
You can take the rubber band off and share it with us so we can read it along the way. Yeah, you can put the information here.
That says, so Prop 1 is New York State. This is only going to be on the New York, this particular one is just for New York State, and it's an equal rights amendment. Oh, that sounds like a really familiar word. What were we just talking about? Right, doing things for 50 years, which 50 years does go by really fast. I know when I first started learning about the league and the idea that these women were working from 1850, very pushing a lot from 1850, and it took to 1920 before women got the right to vote. I thought, oh my gosh, how can anything take 70 years? Well, guess what? Here we are 70 years later, and we're still pushing to have all people created equal in our Constitution. Yeah. And so this proposition is way more than just the protection of a woman's right to decide what to do with her body.
This is everybody.
This is for everybody to be able to decide what to do with their bodies, how they're going to live.
And Willie, I'll talk to you later, because how you think and how you sound and how you thinking is how you're doing it, but it ain't right. And this proposition is like trying to open and create a level road. It's not a bump. It's not a bump that you got to go over. It's leveling out the road, and I'll help you on the mindset side when we talk.
So, again, all people are created equal, and this will cover, that the government shouldn't discriminate against people based on their gender, their sex, their sexual preferences, how old they are, if they have disabilities, if they're immigrants. All people should be treated with dignity and respect. That's the way I interpret it, period. And yes, there's been lots and lots of misinformation going around saying things like, they're going to have sex change operations in school. I mean, it's just so ridiculous that even to think that is where this would go. It's like that's not at all anybody's intention to. No parental rights are going to be changed or affected with this. The parents still should and must be, actively involved with their children to know what they need and what they want. And then it's up to the parents to decide what they need and what they want. And that's the way it should be.
So is this going to be on the national ballot, or
this is just on the New York State? This is just to update the New York State Constitution. Right. As we all know, it's all been sent back to the states. So New York wants to make sure that we codify in our Constitution reproductive rights and adding all those other rights, not just narrowing it down to one thing. So yes, we are protected in our New York State Constitution on the basis of gender and religion, period. So this is like, if we have to say it, it seems like we have to spell it out and say it, or we won't be believed. It's like, oh, but it's not in the Constitution, so we can't do it. Well, it's common sense. I know my mother used to say when I'd say, well, but it says all men are created equal. And she would always say, well, I always thought it meant mankind. Well, we found out it doesn't really mean mankind. And so we want to make it be all the people are created equal and we all deserve the same rights.
And it's like mic drop. It makes it clear. And what I'd like to do is, if there's any question, mix it up, because this event focusing on young people, I hope will draw some attention to that. It is that way, but young people, that is broadening up the consciousness about the types of humanity that are in our community. And I'll start by saying there's something that I do know. The League of Women Voters is not for women only.
Thank you.
So I know that. Dig it. So talk some more about this event that's coming up on the 25th.
I think the other thing that Lori made important is that we have to have the conversation. Not only are we asking people to vote, but we ask them to flip the ballot. And flip the ballot had to be a keyword as a part of not just voting for what's on the front page,
Right.
but you need to turn it over and see what's on the back. I was telling Lori we're in the process of finalizing a webinar with the League of Voters that will happen on October the 15th. The time, I believe, is at 6:30 p.m., but I will confirm that, where we're actually educating the community about what is on that ballot. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? And I think you all have talked a lot we talk about assessments and we talk about things that are important to, but when we talk about voting with our young people, the first conversation is, what is important to you?
Right.
Those questions, we voted probably because the way our parents told us to. They said, okay, well, your family is this party, so you're going to vote this party, right? Stay on the line.
Not what you mind.
Right.
Yes.
But what does that mean? What does that really mean to you? And I think once we start having those conversations, then they have the opportunity to kind of seek additional information on their own to give them that independence. So when they vote, they feel good about what they've done. So some of the information that we'll be providing to you pertains locally, but I really think for young voter engagement, I think Niall will be able to bring home and hit every piece of it. We've had some dynamic questions put together by one of our younger members of our panel. And again, she's engaged, right? She's probably the youngest on our committee. I hate to say that, but she's probably the youngest on our committee. So we just want people to come out and listen on the 25th. This Wednesday, William MCY, 585 William Street. I can't stress it enough, the importance that it means to this 18 to 35. We're going to vote. We already know how we're going to vote. We've studied the issues, but the foundation that you all build today is really your grounds for tomorrow, because you don't have the civil rights movement. You didn't march, so you need to have something to base your decisions on that are concrete.
Absolutely. We are out of time. I know I didn't even get a chance to really comment on that. I'll save it for, we always got other weeks to get you back on. It's okay. No, I agree, because your information was very valid. Thank you guys for coming in today. I don't have any last words. I don't think we even have time for last words. So I'm just going to say thank you for the show. Jim, if you want to close us out, feel free.
Hey, I think what was served up by both our guests, and Benita, Lori, thank you very much.
Thank
Mike's
you.
always welcome back for y'all. And people, take it with you and work with it. Use it. We got this. I'm telling you, there's a different wave going on now,
And we'll have lots of voter registration forms on Wednesday. If you're not registered yet, we still have some time up
That's
until
it,
the first
68.
day of early voting to register. So, and it's coming up fast. So vote.
That will still be live. Thank you. I'm about to say, can I